Yeah. reading from Affirmations for Self-Healing by Swami Kriyananda, and this week is on gratitude. Gratitude is a way of returning energy for energy received. Only a thief takes without paying for what he gets, and one who accepts a kindness without returning gratitude, as though the kindness were his by right, demeans both the giver and himself. He demeans the giver because by ingratitude, he implies that the kindness was inspired by selfish motives. And he demeans himself because by giving nothing in return, he breaks the cycle of creativity, without which prosperity's flow, both materially and spiritually, is blocked. Accept nothing inwardly for yourself, but offer everything to God. Don't let yourself be bought by others' kindnesses. Be grateful to them above all in your soul by blessing or praying for them. Give gratitude first of all to God, from whom alone all blessings truly come. And let's affirm together, I give thanks to the giver behind each gift.
I give thanks to the giver behind each gift.
And to the one giver behind all that I receive.
And to the one giver behind all that I receive.
My gratitude rises with devotion's incense.
My gratitude rises with devotion's incense.
To the throne of omnipresence.
To the throne of omnipresence.
I give thanks to the giver behind each gift.
I give thanks to the giver behind each gift.
And to the one giver behind all that I receive.
And to the one giver behind all that I receive.
My gratitude rises with devotion's incense.
My gratitude rises with devotion's incense.
To the throne of
To
omnipresence.
the throne of omnipresence.
And more quietly now, I give thanks to the giver behind each gift.
I give thanks to the giver behind each gift.
And to the one giver behind all that I receive.
And to the one giver behind all that I receive.
My gratitude rises with devotion's incense.
My gratitude rises with devotion's incense.
To the throne of
To
omnipresence.
the throne of omnipresence.
And now whispering, I give thanks to the giver behind each gift. And to the one giver behind all that I receive. My gratitude rises with devotion's incense. To the throne of omnipresence. And silently now, as I repeat aloud, I give thanks to the giver behind each gift. And to the one giver behind all that I receive. My gratitude rises with devotion's incense to the throne of omnipresence. Please pray silently. I thank thee, Lord, for all thy blessings, but most of all, I thank thee for thy love. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Sunday service. It's wonderful to see you all. It's been a long time. This is a reading from Whispers from Eternity by Paramahansa Yogananda, Book of Prayers and Poems. Many doors opened before me. Many doors opened before me at the dawn of thy coming. O Lord, the very earth shone with life when thou comest. The very ground on which I stood thrilled me because of thee. Everywhere dumb matter spoke to me, spirit resurrected by thy touch. All living things swayed in the incense breeze of thy approach, hinting at thy perfume of bliss. Thy sanctuary of omnipresence was long hidden by the darkness of my indifference. Now, on the revealed courtyard of thy temple, I find thy fountain of joy gaily bubbling. With uplifted palm cups of craving, I catch and drink from the vital waters of thy solace. Lord, I know now that I shall thirst nevermore. Today we're honoring Lahari Mahashaya, his birthday and Mahasamadhi. And I just wanted to say that I'm going to read from the autobiography because nobody says it better than Master. And this book, the autobiography, we talk about it a lot, but essentially it is the channel through which thousands, if not millions of people have come to God. And because of Yogananda's writings about the gurus, about Lahiri Mahashaya and Babaji and Sri Yukteswar and Christ, we have come to know ourselves so much better. And the stories, in particular, that he wrote about Lahiri Mahashaya are simply our stories. And that's why when we read these, it's hard to get through reading out loud without tearing up. Because the one thing that is the most important to all of us is that we have found our guru. And that our guru now will bring us all the way to freedom, which is what our soul has been longing for incarnations. The only thing that is keeping us from realizing that freedom is our indifference. That's it. Just our indifference. So if we change that, we change everything. And Lahiri Mahashaya has come because of the blessings of Babaji to show us how to do that. And I want to read from the autobiography. Remember, Master said that he put his vibrations in this book. So as I read, don't just listen to the words. Feel that Master is really talking to you in this moment, in your heart, helping you to understand on a deeper level what the guru-disciple relationship is. Really feel it. This is from Materializing a Palace in the Himalayas. Babaji's first meeting with Lahiri Mahashaya is an enthralling story, and one of the few which gives us a detailed glimpse of the deathless guru. These words were Swami Ananda's preamble to a wondrous tale. The first time he recounted it, I was literally spellbound. On many other occasions, I coaxed my gentle Sanskrit tutor to repeat the story, which later told me in substantially the same words by Sri Yukteswar. Both these Lahiri Mahashaya disciples had heard the awesome tale direct from the lips of their guru. My first meeting with Babaji took place in my 33rd year, Lahiri Mahashaya had said. In the autumn of 1861, I was stationed in Dunapur as a government accountant in the military engineering department. One morning, the office manager summoned me. Lahiri, he said, a telegram has just come from our main office. You are to be transferred to Raniket, where an army post is now being established. With one servant, I set out on the 500-mile trip. Traveling by horse and buggy, we arrived in 30 days at the Himalayan site of Raniket. My office duties were not onerous. I was able to spend many hours roaming in the magnificent hills. A rumor reached me that great saints blessed the region with their presence. I felt a strong desire to see them. During a ramble, one early afternoon, I was astounded to hear a distant voice calling my name. I continued my vigorous upward climb on Drangiri Mountain. A slight uneasiness beset me at the thought that I might not be able to retrace my steps before darkness had descended over the jungle. I finally reached a small clearing whose sides were dotted with caves. On one of the rocky ledges stood a smiling young man, extending his hand in welcome. I noticed with astonishment that except for his copper-colored hair, he bore a remarkable resemblance to myself. Lahiri, you have come. The saint addressed me affectionately in Hindi. Rest here in this cave. It was I who called you. I entered a neat little grotto which contained several woolen blankets and a few begging bowls. Lahiri, do you remember that seat? The yogi pointed to a folded blanket in one corner. No, sir. Somewhat dazed at the strangeness of my adventure, I added, I must leave now, before nightfall. I have business in the morning at my office. The mysterious saint replied in English, the office was brought for you, and not you for the office. I was dumbfounded that his forest ascetic should not only speak English, but also paraphrase the words of Christ. I see my telegram took effect. The yogi's remark was incomprehensible to me. I inquired his meaning. I refer to the telegram that summoned you to these isolated parts. It was I who silently suggested to the mind of your superior officer that you be transferred to Reniket. When one feels his unity with mankind, all minds become transmitting stations through which he can work at will. He added gently, Lahari, surely this cave seems familiar to you. As I maintained a bewildered silence, the saint approached and struck me gently on the forehead. At his magnetic touch, a wondrous current swept through my brain, releasing the sweet seed memories of my previous life. I remember. My voice was half choked with joyous sobs. You are my guru, Babaji, who has belonged to me always. Scenes of the past arise vividly in my mind. Here in this cave, I spent many years of my last incarnation. As ineffable recollections overwhelm me, I tearfully embrace my master's feet. For more than 3 decades, I have waited for you here, waited for you to return to me. Babaji's voice rang with celestial love. You slipped away and vanished into the tumultuous waves of life beyond death. The magic wand of your karma touched you, and you were gone. Though you lost sight of me, never did I lose sight of you. I pursued you over the luminescent astral sea where the glorious angels sail. Through gloom and storm, upheaval and light, I followed you like a mother bird guarding her young. As you lived out your human term of womb life and emerged a babe, my eye was ever on you. When you covered your tiny form in the lotus posture under the Nayaswami in your childhood, I was invisibly present. Patiently, month after month, year after year, I have watched over you, waiting for this perfect day. Now you are with me. Lo, here is your cave, loved of yore. I have kept it ever clean and ready for you. Here is your hallowed asana blanket, where you daily sat to fill your expanding heart with God. Behold there your bowl, from which you often drank, the nectar prepared by me. See how I have kept the brass cup brightly polished, that you might drink again therefrom. My own, do you understand? My guru, what can I say? I murmured brokenly. Where has one ever heard of such deathless love? I gazed long and ecstatically on my eternal treasure, my guru in this life and death. And this story is the story of everyone. It isn't the story of just the great ones. It's the story of each one of us. When we reach the point where we are able to receive the grace of the Guru, and when our soul has finally decided that nothing of this world will satisfy it, nothing will keep us here, nothing will attach us to these circumstances and places and power and money and social standing and whatever it is that's holding us. We have realized through experience, through our karma, that it's just not going to work. It's not going to give us happiness. And at that point, the Guru, who has been watching us from the first moment of our creation out of God, he's been with us. He appears in whatever form. He appears as a disciple. He appears as a book. He appears as the Guru. He appears in your heart. He pulls you and he gives you himself. And then at that moment you know that yes, I have my freedom. I am the one that has been ignoring it. And it's right here. And all I have to do is say yes to the Guru. That's all. All I have to do is accept him in my heart. In that moment, for each one of us, it is really, truly the most precious moment of our lives. All the other things pale beyond this, compared to this. Because in this, the guru-disciple relationship, now we can become free. Now we have the help we need. Now we finally can achieve the goal that we've been seeking. And with the guru-disciple relationship, that yearning becomes more and more. The heart becomes more and more open. There's more and more love. And with that devotion, then all of a sudden we receive the blessings from the guru that he's been wanting to give us for incarnations. Then we receive the guidance that we need to go forward. And everybody's journey is different, and it's precious, and it's unique, and it's beautiful. And all of the struggles that we've had up until this point have led us to this point. They aren't bad or good. Nothing's bad or good, really, in the ultimate sense. Everything we needed to learn the lesson, to go inside. We've needed everything. It's hard to think of that when you think of the mistakes we've made and the places we've gone and what we've done in our lives that we're ashamed of, and oh, don't look at me. But the guru has been watching us make these mistakes, watching us go through life, watching us go up and down. He hasn't rejected us. He hasn't turned away. He hasn't said, oh, I'm never coming back. Look what you did. Look how you are. How come you're not there yet? No, just like Lahiri Mahashaya and Babaji. He was there every moment, even at the moment of the birth of each incarnation. So we should be happy and grateful that these great gurus have come to let us know that this is indeed the path to freedom, to God. The guru-disciple relationship. It's the path that we have been seeking. And now that we have it, we should cling to it with every fiber of our being. We should never let go of the guru's feet. No matter what we're going through, no matter how hard our life is, no matter how confused we are, no matter how great we think we are, don't let go of the guru's feet. Now that you've become awake enough to recognize him in your life. That's very important. The only thing he doesn't want is our indifference. Because he will wait, and we can go through several more incarnations. But Master said, eventually, why not now? Look at the blessings we have with these powerful gurus. Master wrote about him in this book, not for our entertainment, well, for our entertainment, but for our wisdom, for our guidance, so that we know how to be. And when Lahiri Mahashaya recognized Babaji, that's each one of us when we recognize our guru. Don't take it for granted. Never take that for granted. You're blessed with a true guru. We're blessed. And this is another thing I wanted to read. And again, feel the vibrations. This is from the chapter of Materialize in a Palace. My son, Babaji said, embrace me. Your role in this incarnation must be played on an outward stage. Prenatally blessed by many lives of lonely meditation, you must now mingle in the world of men. A deep purpose underlay the fact that you did not meet me this time until you were already a married man with modest business responsibilities. You must put aside your thoughts of joining our secret band in the Himalayas. Your life lies in the crowded marts, serving as an example of the ideal yogi householder. The cries of many bewildered worldly men and women have not fallen unheard on the ears of the great ones, he went on. You have been chosen to bring spiritual solace through Kriya Yoga to numerous earnest seekers. The millions who are encumbered by family ties and heavy worldly duties will now take new heart from you, a householder like themselves. You must guide them to see that the highest yogic attainments are not barred to the family man. Even in the world, the yogi who faithfully discharges his responsibilities without personal motive or attachment treads the sure path of enlightenment. No necessity compels you to leave the world, for inwardly you have already sundered its every karmic tie. Not of this world, you must be in it. Many years still remain, during which you must conscientiously fulfill your family, business, civic, and spiritual duties. A sweet new breath of divine hope will penetrate the arid hearts of worldly men. From your balanced life, they will understand that liberation is dependent on inner, rather than outer renunciation. How remote seemed my family, the office, the world, as I listened to my guru in the high Himalayan solitudes. Yet adamantine truth rang in his words. I submissively agreed to leave this blessed haven of peace. Babaji instructed me in the ancient rigid rules which govern the transmission of the yogic art from the guru to the disciple. Bestow the Kriya key only on qualified chelas, Babaji said. He who vows to sacrifice all in the quest of the divine is fit to unravel the final mysteries of life through the science of meditation. Angelic Guru, as you have already favored mankind by resurrecting the lost Kriya art, will you not increase that benefit by relaxing the strict requirements for discipleship? I gaze beseechingly at Babaji. I pray that you permit me to communicate Kriya to all seekers, even though at first they cannot vow themselves to complete inner renunciation. The tortured men and women of the world, pursued by the threefold suffering, need special encouragement. They may never attempt the road to freedom if Kriya initiation be withheld from them. Be it so. The divine wish has been expressed through you. With these simple words, the merciful Guru banished the rigorous safeguards that for ages had hidden Kriya from the world. Give Kriya freely to all who humbly ask for it. After a silence, Babaji added, repeat to each of your disciples this majestic promise from the Bhagavad Gita. Even a little bit of the practice of this religion will save you from dire fears and colossal sufferings. And that is, to me, the Guru's gift to us is Kriya Yoga. And he's not here in the body, and we lament that. I was born the year before he left his body, and he knew he was going to have a short life. But because of Lahiri Mahashaya's big heart, he asked Babaji, for the rest of us, could you please give them Kriya Yoga so that they can be free, so they can find you? And the Kriya is the Guru. Kriya Yoga is the Guru. He has given us deep meditation and selfless service as our spiritual path. And the Guru will guide us from within as we practice these techniques with devotion, with a yearning for God. They must be practiced with devotion. It's very hard, in America especially, when we teach Kriya Yoga. Because in America, and I think in India too now to some degree because of this wave that we're on of wealth and success and moving forward and materialism, it's very difficult to practice Kriya and meditation without the thought of the fruits of the meditation, with Nishkam Karma. That's one of the most difficult things. We sit to meditate and nothing happens. That didn't work. This is not working on me. And so very quickly, unless we get results, just like that, this is what America wants right now. You know, you put down your money and you want your Amazon package the next day. We need results. We cannot wait for anything. But Kriya Yoga is a very subtle technique. It works on the deepest level of our spine, releasing the karmas in our spine that are preventing us from seeing that light and being one with that light. We don't know what's in our spines. We don't know our past incarnations. We don't know the karma that we have accrued in our spines. So how can we expect, just because we read books, this is the spiritual eye, and you should hear this sound from this chakra by now, and I should be feeling this rush of kundalini, and why isn't it working? You know, we meditate for the results, but Master and Lahiri Mahashaya said over and over again, meditate for the love of God. Meditate because you've been given Kriya, and because the grace is there if you practice it the way it's been taught. And leave the results to God and Guru. They know your karma. They know what you have to do. So they gave you Kriya, And we should be practicing it like they gave it, every day, regularly, and with devotion. That's all. It's a pretty simple thing. You offer yourself into the light, and you receive the grace back down. We've had people come, and if they don't, reach self-realization in a week, then that doesn't work, and then they go to a different path. But this is a path. It's subtle, but it's also a lifestyle. It's not just meditation. It's not just the technique. The technique is so important, but combined with the yogic lifestyle, it's insurmountable. There's nothing that can protect you more from this world than this path, because the Guru works through these techniques. The Guru has given you this technique. It's him. And he's given you the yogic lifestyle. So many things Yogananda has told us how to live a yogic life. Do we do it? I don't know. But you can tell, Swami said, if you're growing spiritually, the joy in your heart grows. If you're growing spiritually, he said, if you're depressed, you don't stay depressed that long. You might get depressed because that's the karma you're going through. Recognize it, practice Kriya, take that depression up the spine, offer it at the spiritual eye, and bring God's grace back down. Do it again and again with depression. Then after you practice your Kriya, you right here at the point between the eyebrows, stay for a long time. Because that karma, that negative energy is all it is. It's energy blocked in our spine. Will dissolve if you can just use your willpower and stay there. You just stay there. Swami said that people that practice Kriya get up too soon after the practice, and then the energy hasn't dissolved. Force yourself. Use willpower. Use a little, whatever you call it, moxie. Just sit there and just give it to God. Give it to God. It's such a beautiful technique, and it works. And you'll get up from your meditation, and honestly, that karma will be gone. And Swami also said something interesting. He said, you might get up from Kriya, maybe you haven't worked it all out, and maybe something came up in your spine that is just really agitating you. He said, don't worry about it. Do what you can. In a couple of days it will dissolve, because you've brought it to the surface. And that's what we have to do. We have to bring our karma to the surface, recognize it, and then offer it to God. We don't have to wallow in it. We don't have to be depressed. We don't have to be angry. We don't have to say, oh, why me, Lord? We could spend incarnations saying why. That's not the question we need to ask. We need to ask, what should I do, Lord? So Lahiri Mahashaya gave Kriya Yoga to householders because householders can practice Kriya Yoga. That's why he gave it to us. We're all yogis from the past. In this incarnation, we're serving outwardly. That's okay. Lahiri Mahashaya did, and that was his example. That's okay. Even Master, he had a great big family. He was a monk, but look what he did. He was serving constantly, and Swami was a monk. He was serving constantly. And in that service, you release your karma. In that service to God, you release any sense of self, any selfishness, and you start releasing the energy around your ego. You start saying, thou, Lord, not me. You don't see life as how it relates only to you. You see how it relates to everybody. You become compassionate. You become more caring of your family, your children, your relationships, your work people that you work with, people on the street. All of a sudden, you don't have so many axes to grind. All of a sudden, where does that go? You look back over the years after doing Kriya Yoga from Lahiri Mahashaya and do it the way Master taught, you don't have those things anymore that are blocking you. You may not be there yet, but it's working. It absolutely is working. So don't get discouraged. Don't give up. Don't just take for granted what Lahiri Mahashaya did for us as householders. Don't take that for granted. Babaji gave him the power to give us Kriya Yoga. And Master brought it out into this world. And now it's up to us. Master's gone, Swami's gone. Who will come? Who will help? Who will help other people now? Who are going to be the great ones? That each individual one of us is that person, is that soul that can take what we know, the blessings that we've received, the wisdom that we've gained, the compassion that we have, and we give it right where we are in this life. That opens the channels. Then when you sit to do Kriya, it's such a blessed experience because you do begin to feel joy. The result of Kriya is joy. You've been a channel for these great gurus in your day, in your daily life. And it's very simple. You don't have to do great things. You don't have to start a great institution. And if you don't like organizations, that's okay. You don't have to go start a school. We all have husbands and families and people we work with and guru bhais. Share it with them. Aha, that's a novel thought. Share the blessings with who God puts in your life. That's how we work out our karma. And then when you do that, your life opens up, more energy comes through, you start channeling more love, more joy, magnetically draw more love and joy into your life, and more people, more love and joy, and more experiences. That's where you get it. You have to get rid of the ego. Don't relate it all back to yourself. Just thou, Lord. Swami used to say, talk to God in the second person, not the third person. Oh, come to me, he said this or whatever. You, Lord, it's a one-on-one relationship. It's a one-on-one. And through the guru, we will find God in this lifetime. If that's what we want. We always get what we want. I don't think we realize that, but we do. We always get what we want. We may not think we want it, but at one point, everything that we put out comes right back to us. So, just accept your lives, but most of all, be grateful. And I have one more that I want to read. This is a lot of reading, I know, but... New hope for new men. Divine union, the Yogavatar proclaimed, is possible through self-effort and is not dependent on theological beliefs or on the arbitrary will of a cosmic dictator. Through use of the Kriya key, persons who cannot bring themselves to believe in the divinity of any man will behold at last the full divinity of their own selves. And remember the definition of self-realization. It's the knowing in all parts of your body and your mind and your soul that you are a part of God, that you don't have to pray, come to me, come to me. All we have to do is improve our knowing. And we have all the help we need. We have the technique, we have the gurus, we have one another. We are part of a great wave of energy. And in this world of darkness, which seems to be getting darker and darker and darker, and weirder and more disjointed and unable to understand this world, we become calmer, more peaceful, more loving, more compassionate. When you step into that light, when you open yourself to the Guru's grace, when you call on the Gurus, help me, in every situation of your life, in your meditations, call on the Guru, help me, tell me what to do. Master said he didn't want to teach through words. He didn't like to teach outwardly. He liked to send his guidance inwardly and tell you in your heart what you need to know. And so in a deep meditation, that's when you listen, and that's when you'll hear his guidance. That's where you will hear what you need to know to go further on the spiritual path. And know beyond a doubt that none of this is by accident. Our little center here in Bangalore, the people that we have here, that all over India, it's growing in India. In Delhi, they just had an event with 400 people, spiritual fair. They're having a 1,500 people spiritual music concert down in Pune. We opened a new center in Mumbai. Hundreds came. It's happening. The movie, everybody coming to the movie in Bangalore. So many people are coming. We're getting so many phone calls, and we're all seeking the same thing. And we're in a position to help. With what little we have, we can give. whatever, we think, oh, I don't have anything, and I don't have anything to offer, and I'm just this. Yes, you do. You had enough so that Master recognized you and showed you that you are his disciple and that he is your guru. That is precious. That is important. That you should cling to, because that's who you are. That's who we all are. We're complete, joyful, fulfilled, loving, compassionate, expansive souls. And someday we'll realize that. And that's what the spiritual path is about. We're just finding out who we really are. Who we really are and always have been. So Haridas and I are so happy to be back. And thank you for keeping everything so wonderfully running while we were gone. And may we all truly meditate deeply and think of one another in our meditations and bless one another and pray for one another as a spiritual family, because we are the ones that are going to help one another. So God bless you all.